Joining me is the Shadow Minister for Energy Affordability, Melissa McIntosh. Thanks for your time. I don't know if you saw Chris Uhlmann's documentary, The Real Cost of Net Zero, but did you get to catch it?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, and what was your take on it?
I think it's really timely, isn't it, when we've got our country represented on the world stage saying no to an invitation from our AUKUS countries, our greatest allies, and then here at home this documentary airs talking about the true cost of renewables, that costs will not be lowered, that will be paying more because of distribution and transmission, all the things that will make up a renewable future at 82%. But what really hit me most was the woman who was aired, Belinda Jones, and her story, and about how much she's struggling, because her story is the story of so many Australians across this country right now.
Yeah, no, indeed. That was certainly the kitchen table politics that we're seeing play out right around, and the budgets that are causing dramas. She was calling it a payday killer when she got her energy bill. But I wonder, tell me, what's the view in your part of Sydney, in Western Sydney, and in your seat towards nuclear energy? Because traditionally in the polls, renewables have been quite popular, because largely, I guess, because people have enjoyed rooftop solar and so on. It's had a flow on. But what's your read as to the view towards nuclear?
Yeah, people want to do the right things, right? That's why they've had solar on their roofs. But right now they're just like Belinda and they're really struggling, and they're lining up at food banks. I am getting a lot of support on the ground for nuclear, and people are starting to question the current government's energy policies, because they were promised $275 less and they're paying around $1,000 more. So it is very promising on the ground, speaking to everyday Australians about what our policy is going to be.
They're not spooked by the old concerns around that industry?
I think the word that you use, old concerns, is the right term, because I think people are quite switched on that the nuclear we're looking at is very different, and it's driven by technology, and things have changed in the world. And when you've got pretty much every other continent signing up to nuclear and leaning into nuclear, we seem to be the only ones that are closing the doors and putting the shutters up on it, which is quite embarrassing, actually.
Do you agree with some of your colleagues in the coalition who want Australia out of Paris and out of net zero?
I think that Australia, we've committed as a whole towards net zero, and we talk about nuclear as a way to get there as well, and having a mix. So you have a mix of nuclear along with renewables and along with gas. And I want to just quickly talk about gas, because this is what was mentioned in Chris's documentary as well, is that our manufacturers across this country rely on gas. They need that baseload power. And he said, which is very right, if we're not going to be making it here, other countries are going to be doing it. Industry is not going to close, but we are going to miss out. And our desire to have Aussie made will disintegrate.
The government has said that it's got gas as part of its mix, though. So are you, at least, does that placate you to an extent?
Well,
they're obviously very much opposed to nuclear, but in terms of gas, they're saying it'll be a part of the mix for decades.
I think that's a prime example of the Labor Party saying one thing and doing another. When I'm speaking to stakeholders in that particular industry, they're saying we just don't have enough supply. They're talking the talk, but they're not doing much action on gas, and the manufacturers are saying
the states as well, coming to the party in terms of exploration and so on. Your area is going to be hit by those train strikes if they eventuate. We've been reporting on the train strikes in Sydney, but we're talking massive impact if that train network grinds to a halt.
Yeah, isn't that extraordinary? Around 1 million people rely on that rail network a day, and Labor, which is the government in New South Wales, is being pushed around by its union mates. This wasn't happening when the coalition was in government, and it's all well and good to say that we'll delay the strikes for a Pearl Jam concert. That's great for people that love Pearl Jam, but what about all the workers in Western Sydney that need to get to their jobs?
School kids, yeah.
School kids, nurses, frontline workers, everyone, because we have around 300,000 200,000 people commuting out of Western Sydney a day. Everyone that does that is going to be hitting hard.
I wouldn't want to be on the roads that day if it does eventuate.
Absolutely.
Melissa McIntosh, Shadow Minister for Energy Affordability. Thanks, appreciate it.
Thank you.